Hello, Perkins people. Welcome to another day to show some kindness. Like the new guy at the copier. You know, he wanted 2 copies, but he printed 200. Think how good you'll feel showing him how to cancel out. Kind of like the way you'll feel when you order a new dish from Perkins' Great Plates menu. There's the cheesy chicken and bacon pasta, or all-you-can-eat pancakes, and so much more, just $4 to $8. Only at Perkins.
Kindness served daily.
Oh, man. Now he's jammed it.
Know your name, I swear I do. It's on the tip of my tongue. Sorry, what did you say? And I've known you for how long? Your face is so familiar, but no name comes to mind. Please, can you remind me if you'll be so kind? Staring out into space, asking God to hear my case. Trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last?
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm Lori LeBay, the host and founder of Alzheimer Speaks, and I'm also a daughter whose mother had dementia for 30 years, and that's really why I started this company. I wanted to be able to raise voice to products, services, and tools so that other families didn't struggle the way our family did, trying to find help and resources. And so I welcome you today. Bottom line, Alzheimer Speaks is an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort around the world. We also help companies expand their brand footprint by leveraging our platforms and content to increase access to their products, services, and tools to those in need. I also love every time we do this show to thank our audience, because without you, we would be nothing. And your loyalty, your time commitment to us has been phenomenal. You're the ones that have gotten us recognized by Oprah, by Maria Shriver, by Dr. Oz, and so many others. And that happened through your likes, your clicks, and your shares with our content. You see, you're helping spread the word. Even though it just takes a second, you have a big influence out there in terms of pushing resources to people in need. And so I hope that you'll continue to do that. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter and all those other places, but the individual content from the blog and from the radio show are really important to push out. So again, thank you so much. And I'd also like to invite you to be a guest on our show. You see, Alzheimer Speaks believes in raising everyone's voice. So it's not just about us talking, it's about learning and inspiring one another in terms of what's working and what's not working, because you know, every person with dementia deals with this a little bit different. Every family does. Every environment is different. So we encourage to hear your story and to share it with others. We'd be more than glad to help push that out. And you can contact me through the radio page at Alzheimer Speaks Radio, or you can go to our main website, Alzheimer Speaks, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a big gold button that says Contact. So, before I introduce our guest today, I want to give a shout out to Dementia Raw. Their Silver Dawn Training Institute is coming to White Bear Lake, Minnesota, which is really close to me. And so on August 6th and 7th, I will be there with them for their Certified Dementia Communications Specialist training. And I'm very excited to see Tammy Newman and Kathy Braxton, who are the founders of Dementia Raw. Their approach, if you're not aware of it, they use what they call introspective improv, and it's unscripted, unconventional, and unapologetic, and they deal with real-life scenarios, and I'm just really, really looking forward to being part of that group on the 6th and 7th of August. I also want to give a shout out to, this is a really cool concept that I think aligns with dementia and caregiving really well. The World Kindness USA launch just happened the end of July in LA, and they are looking for cities and businesses to join forces. I happen to be one of the founding members here. And Michael Lloyd White is the one who has been working so hard at getting this developed, and he's getting an exceptional response. He was here from Australia for about 6 weeks, and he's back in Australia for about a month, and then he's going to be heading back over here trying to get more of the kindness body up and running. It's a pretty magical experience, and you can get more information by just going to worldkindnessusa.org. Again, that's worldkindnessusa.org. A couple other companies I just want to give a shout out to is the American Senior Magazine. They are a lifestyle magazine for seniors with topics ranging from nostalgia, health, and wellness, and they interview and do spotlights on notable older Americans, and you can go to americanseniormagazine.com for more information there, or go to alzheimersspeaks.com and you'll see an ad and you'll actually get a discount for them there. And then the Purple Table reservations, I don't know if everyone's heard about them, but they are really trying to get our restaurants up and trained so that they're more dementia friendly. And it actually expands more than just dementia. It'll work with people who have post-traumatic stress, autism, and so many other things that just need a little more assistance. So that's all my housekeeping for right now. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest, who I'm very excited to have with us. Steve Bodansky has his master's degree in molecular biology and a doctorate in Sensuality, and he has been a sensuality and relationship coach for the past 30 years. He has written several books, and he says mostly for pleasure and fun and love. So welcome, Steve. How are you doing today?
Hi, Lori. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to be with us. Now, I always ask all of our guests the same question to kind of kick us off, just so our listeners have a little background on you. But have you been personally touched by dementia by family or friends?
Well, my wife has Alzheimer's, so I guess I've been touched by it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very, very close, so I'm living it.
Okay. Can you share with us what type of dementia and when she got diagnosed? Is it actually Alzheimer's or?
Well, I mean, it's different. They went to see a neurologist, I don't know, about 7 years ago probably, and she said it's Alzheimer's, but they can't know for sure until they do an autopsy. So that's what she said.
Okay.
But I think Vera's been losing her memory for about probably 15, maybe 12, 15 years or so, and it's just slowly getting less and less. But she really has no memory now at all, but she's very functional still.
Okay. So, and that's pretty
amazing
common
person.
to have symptoms several years before actually getting diagnosed. So, and she still lives at home with you then?
Yeah, we do everything together.
Okay.
We're like 24/7, I'd say. I mean, she used to get her nails done, and I'd be by myself for a while, but now she doesn't do that. So I think once every 3 months she goes to the hairdresser, and I drop her off for an hour. Otherwise, we're together all the time.
Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about your book, Love and Alzheimer's. How did that come about? You know, typically there's some kind of trigger point that flashes off in our minds that says, I need to do this. What was yours?
That's a good question because I'm not sure. I think the idea, there's an idea theory out there, and it just hit me. I basically write about my life anyhow, so this is just the next step to make it public, what I'm going through and what our relationship is going through and what it's like. And I just started it, and it I didn't write an outline or figure, what I'm going to exactly write. And I don't really have that much time to write, but I write like my wife Vera would sleep for in the morning more, get up later than I do, so I'd have time in the morning to do some writing. So I'd write a little bit each day, and it kind of just developed from there. And it talked about the emotions I feel and what I was doing to make me feel better about the situation, and how it just evolved from there.
Okay. Now, was Vera aware that you were writing the book?
I mean, she sees me writing it, but she's not really. I wouldn't say she's aware of what I'm doing, actually.
Okay. And the reason I ask that is some people, write jointly with their partners. It just depends on where people are at in terms of progression of the disease and comfort level. So that's why I was asking that. So
yeah, I mean, I used to write. I wrote a number of books about sensuality, and she was like my joint co-author on those. And most of it, I would do the writing, and then I'd read it to her, and she'd put her 2 cents in and say that's really good, And now I don't read it to her too often, but once in a while I'll read her a section, and she either responds or won't respond, and sometimes she responds like in really in a humorous way or so. So it's kind of fun sometimes to do that.
Great. Now, in your book, I'm just going to share part of the table of contents with people because I think this is really important. You outline the benefits of not remembering, and you highlight fear, anger, sadness, jealousy, doubt, and then some of the pleasure and sensuality in terms of decisions and strangeness and delight, feeling down, paying attention, illness and hospital. And I think those are all very important subjects that don't always get talked about. So can we talk a little bit about what has changed in your relationship with Vera over the progression of the disease?
Well, I mean, we had a relationship where we did everything together anyhow, but she was kind of more like in charge of what we're going to do, and I was in charge like how we're going to do it. So she'd come up with like the appetite, and I come up with like the production. That's where we taught like in the relationship about the man-woman relationship, which is a really a normal way of men and women relate. And with her disease, she has, I guess, the appetite, but she's no longer vocal about it. So I kind of have to guess what she wants or what she wants to do. And she's like, I never like making decisions. There's even a chapter in there about making decisions. And I never like to make decisions. I'd rather have people make the decisions than I'd say okay or not okay. But now I got to make all the decisions and decide how to do it. And I'll ask her, what do you want for lunch? And they say, I don't know, you decide. I say, well, do you want a salad or do you want vegetables with some fish? And she'll say, I don't know, you decide. So it's, so I guess I feel like eating salad today, so we'll eat a salad. So that's one of the benefits, too. I mean, I get to do whatever I want, pretty much.
Yeah. But it is, I think, I get what you're saying about making all the decisions, because even in my line of work, it's like, I make so many decisions and I talk so much during the day. Sometimes I just kind of shut down and I'm like, I don't care. I can really go any way. I'm pretty easy. But yet that can frustrate other people because, they want to make sure you're in it too. And not just kind of going around for the ride, or they don't want to feel like they're the activities director or whatever.
Right. I mean, I'm the activities director. And we have this thing like we call it cause and effect. Like somebody can play cause or somebody can be at effect of something. So I'm always at cause. I'm always coming up with the ideas and implementing them, and the activities director. But she's really good at going along with my games. So whatever I decide, she's okay, and she likes whatever I make her. She likes what I do. She rewards me. She tells me like sometimes she doesn't want to take a shower, so I'll ask her, you want to take a shower now? And she'll say, no, not now. But if I keep asking, sooner or later, she'll say, okay. So we take a shower, and then she says, I want to take my shirt off. I say, okay, well, don't take your shirt off now. And then finally, I'll say, okay, take your shirt off, and she'll take it off. And we'll get in the shower. She'll wash. She'll do the washing. I'll give her the shampoo and stuff and help her, but she does all the washing herself. And then after we get out, she says, "You're so kind. You're so nice to me. You take such great care of me." And that feels like the reward of when she says that. It feels so good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, that's nice. And I know some people. When if they have like a spouse or a care partner that is refusing to shower, sometimes they'll just jump in the shower with them. And I've heard people say, we just get into the shower with our clothes on, if that's where they're at. And then I'll take my clothes off, and then they'll take their clothes off, and we just have to do it. It's a little extra laundry, but it's not a fight, and we just, kind of trying to keep things smooth and in moving forward. So it's about adjusting and what's going to work, kind of keeping the peace. You talk about the benefits of her not remembering, like fear and anger and sadness. Can you give us like an example or two regarding that?
Well, I mean, she's had some bad experience when she was a kid. For instance, she was in a concentration camp in Austria. Her mother was. They were living in she was Yugoslavian in Belgrade, and the mother was helping people to escape. She wasn't even Jewish, or a gypsy or anything. But the Nazis were, I guess, invaded Yugoslavia and took it over, and she was helping Jewish people and other people to escape. And Vera was like 8 or 9 years old, and they put her in camp, and she doesn't even remember that now at all. So that's kind of a benefit, not having to remember that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. How about
also like benefits is, like she used to not want to fly. She wasn't a fear of flying. She just refused to fly. So I used to go visit my parents in Florida by myself, and we'd go to New York quite a bit. We always took the Amtrak train across the country. I think it was taking it 20 times across, back and forth. And then one day she forgot that she didn't fly, so we started flying again to Florida and New York. So that was a benefit for me. I don't know if it's a benefit for her or not.
Well, as long as she's comfortable with it, yeah. As long as she's comfortable with it.
She said, I like this. This is cool. She liked the airplane. I think I like flying less than she does now.
Yeah, it's gotten complicated, and even just going through, the screening process with somebody with dementia can complicate things if you don't let them know ahead of time and
we
stuff.
haven't had any problems. They're always pretty nice so far, but we don't travel a lot. We only travel like once a year. And my parents are gone, so I don't know if we're going to be traveling by plane at all anymore.
Okay. Now, in the book, you also talk about pleasure and sensuality, and can you talk a little bit more about that and how that portion of your relationship has changed?
Well, I think we've used that part, because that's our business, is teaching women and couples about how to pleasure women, actually. And so I pretty much do that myself now, because Vera really isn't really into doing that. But once in a while, she'll still help out and join the session, but she doesn't talk. But so anyhow, because of her training, she has training on doing extended orgasms. That's one of our first book, Extended Orgasms. And so she has this ability to be manually stimulated and have a long and intense orgasm. And she can still actually have good orgasms. And now the question is, how do you get her into bed? Because I'll say, you like to get pleasure now, or you want to have an orgasm, you want to get done, and words are hard for her to understand exactly what I'm saying. But if if I take her hand and I bring her to the bed and I set up the space, and I say, okay, now I take my pants off, and then, okay, now you take your pants off, and she'll take her pants off, and I say, okay, now you get on the bed, and she gets on the bed, and then she starts feeling her body, and she's, like old times.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll pleasure me sometimes too, like she's like an expert.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't forgotten how to do that. And we like hold hands whenever we go out. We hold hands.
I'm sorry, you cut out for just a second there. You said you hold hands whenever you go out. Was that?
Yeah, I think somebody's trying to call in here. Yeah, we hold hands a lot because I walk pretty fast and she walks pretty well, but not as fast as I do. So I don't like walking in front of her. So my old hands, I'm walking with her. Also, she's not as stable as she used to be. So she actually broke her pelvis about 1.5 years ago because I wasn't holding her hand.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but she recovered really fast because we walk a lot. So I just hold her hand and it feels good, and we squeeze each other, and we do a lot of kissing, mostly at home, but sometimes I'll do we have these fountains around the town. There's a couple really pretty fountains, or a bridge, and every time we go over a bridge or a fountain, okay, I say, let's kiss, and she gives me the sweetest little kiss. It's not like a long, big kiss, but it's a sweet one that you can feel.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go in elevators, I always say, okay, I'm going to kiss you now. And she gets all turned on and really enjoys my kissing her in the elevator. We don't go in 50 floors. It's just a couple of floors usually. But by the time, we're both flushed in our face and we're really turned on, and it's amazing what a little kiss can do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when somebody has dementia, people think that they're not going to be sexual anymore, and they don't have the ability to be sensual or to know what's going on. But from what I'm hearing you say, she's very much aware of what's going on and can sense the pleasure.
Yeah, she definitely can feel the pleasure. She's not verbal about it. I mean, one of the ways we taught people is to acknowledge the pleasure, and she once in a while she'll acknowledge it, but usually she'll just feel it without talking much.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a great talker, but at night she starts talking more. She likes to talk at night. In the middle of the night, I think she's talking in her sleep too, and she's pretty funny.
Okay. When you talk with other couples that are dealing with dementia, is this something that they struggle with?
I haven't talked to any other couples with dementia, actually.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I've read books about it, but I haven't really talked to anybody about it.
Okay, because I do think that there's a lot of people that want to talk and they want to learn, how are people handling all of this, and there really isn't a great space for that. You'll see, I go around the country doing speaking and training, and I'll see some people advertise, sexuality or sex in the nursing home or whatever they might entitle it. To try to explain what's going on and what's happening. But, I find it really helpful for people just to talk organically, too, in terms of what's going on in their everyday life, if they're comfortable. I mean, this can be a taboo topic for some people. But yet I see a lot of people really struggling with the loss of intimacy as the disease progresses for many, or the belief, the stereotype and stigmatism that's out there that somebody can't be sensual with the disease, or others worry that somebody's taking advantage of somebody, and it's like, especially if you're a husband and a wife, or a significant couple of any standard, how do others look at that? Have you gotten any response from family or friends as your wife has progressed regarding.
Well, they did tell me that I'm doing such a great job, and they they're so glad that I'm in Vera's life.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're not really that. I mean, they got their own families and their own stuff to do, and so we don't see them that much. We have some friends, and when I needed help when I was in the hospital, like her family took over and helped out for a week. But as soon as I was out of the hospital, like we were back together again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's why I wrote the book is to really show that you can have fun and pleasure, and it's just a different lifestyle, I guess, than you maybe expected or were used to. But and it's kind of weird or strange, but it's not a bad thing, and it's something you can really put your heart around. And I think it has made me a better person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more attentive and more loving, and more loving to myself too. I used to get I think it was a chapter about anger, how I get angry when Vera would do this coughing thing, and I haven't gotten angry in a couple of years now, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm mellowed out, and I think I think the parts about touching and kissing and pleasure is what I have to add to this topic. I mean, a lot of people have written about it, but I don't think they really put that accent on what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have several poems in your book here too. One I'd like to read, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay. This one says, let's see, how I've been doing it, I don't really know. You keep me going when I no longer can. A celestial comet, an orbital space, coming together just at the right pace. I hold your mind, I keep you on track. I'm on your side, I've got your back. We be near and we be far. We are love and love we are. Becoming one is a miraculous feat. You make it easy and a glorious treat. I've become you and you've become me. There is no other, just a total we. We be near and we be far. We are love and love we are. And I just think that's beautiful. You've got some really, really nice poetry in here.
Vera's like my muse.
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing her poem. I actually wrote a book called The Universe of Love, Poems of Yin and Yang, and it's got probably 100 poems to her. I write like every anniversary, every Valentine's Day, every birthday. She gets a birthday, really pretty birthday card I'll pick, and I'll put a poem in each one of them, and they're all over the house. So and she doesn't remember, so she'll pick it up and she'll say, "Wow, look at this! Have you seen this?" I said, "Yeah, I wrote that to you." She says, "You did? That's so wonderful, And the same card makes me pick up like the next day and say the same thing. So it's kind of like Groundhog Day, but it's like a fun Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Well, and this one that I just read was from April 12th, 2017, which was your 34th anniversary, it says here. Yeah. So, I just think that it's so sweet, and that you continue your traditions, that you had, and you're not willing to kind of give up that touch and physicality of your relationship because of the disease. And again, if somebody was feeling discomfort or, whatever with it, that would be a whole nother story. But, it sounds like she's still able to be, a participant, a willing participant, and one who enjoys it as well. I think that that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I like for instance, yesterday I asked her, would you like to have a date, sensual date, and she said no. And I must have asked her like 4 or 5 times all day long, and then finally she says, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So, because she doesn't remember me even asking her. She says, "Why are you asking me again?" She doesn't say that, I told you.
Which would be, which would be our typical response, But yeah, so that is definitely.
And what we do is manual stimulation, so it's not like taking advantage of somebody. It's all about pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about like getting yours or getting, it's both people take pleasure from this experience.
Yeah. Now you note in here about, and this one is under the chapter of kind of doubt. You said a mental hug comes with a virtual, certain physical embrace, erases any doubt. It removes the wall and the curtain surrounded by you inside and out. Can you tell us, where you were when you wrote that and what that means to you?
Well, I think it's I don't know where I was, but I think it's about being present. Because when you have doubt, it means you're somewhere, thinking about the future. Some future loss. So you're doubting. And when you hug somebody, it brings you right to the present. So it's like I'm a student, but I loved Eckhart Tolle's books, The Power of Now, and that's the only really place that it exists. And all the other stuff, being in the future or thinking more like losing about the past or something bad that happened or something that could be bad happening in the future or something even good happening in the future. That's being like out of your mind. The best place to be is right here, right now. And I think physically, when I hug Vera, I'm not thinking anymore. It's like it's a good way of stopping that incessant, monologue in your head. And there's no more doubt then.
Yeah, you talk about doubt is just the ego playing with us, kind of that game. And I think you go on to talk about, men usually doubt themselves in their productivity, and women usually doubt their attraction, and being attractive and stuff, and that it can hit us at any time regarding anything. But it's about pushing it aside and kind of standing in our own confidence and of who we are and what we do. You say, sometimes I feel sadness when Vera asks me if I love her. How does that, in terms of sadness, can you explain that? Because I think everybody goes through that. But when dementia is part of the picture, I would imagine it feels a little bit different.
Well, because yeah, of course I love you. Everything I do is about loving you. My whole life is is that. And how dare you ask me if I love you? That's what my ego would respond with. But it's just step aside and say it's an opportunity to tell her how much you love her again. So it's a chance to be creative. So there's always the silver lining to everything, to every cloud. Not every cloud, but to some clouds. So it's an opportunity for me to tell her, wow, I love you more than, more than Elizabeth Barry Browning loved in her poem, I love you more than a summer's day. I really love you so much. Nobody has loved anybody as much as I love you. So you can just speak your love instead of saying, how come you keep asking me that? Don't you know you love me? And I think that goes for with dementia, or just anybody may say, do you love me? And it's always a chance to take the positive side and take the creative side.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think as a society we're really good.
I learned that from writing. I think writing down these things helped me. I think it's really good if you're living with somebody who has dementia to write down your thoughts.
Yeah. And I think as a society, when someone asks us if we love them, we pigeonhole them as being needy instead of looking within and saying, well, how am I coming off? Why is this question coming up? It's kind of it's real easy to blame the other person for not feeling confident or being needy, when actually it could have to do a lot with our verbals or our nonverbals that we may or may not even be aware of. Our actions may have changed, but it's always easier to blame the other guy than to go within.
You can always be more loving.
Yep. Well, and I think that, I think it's good to look within and take that question seriously in terms of, how can I be kinder? How can I be more loving, more gentle? How can they feel it? Because apparently my words aren't cutting it. So it might not just be words. It may be, a combination of actions and, following the same path, integrating and being more authentic in that love for them. And it could just be, that they had a lapse too and kind of forgot who you are, and what your relationship is along this journey too. And then it's a matter of not so much, them remembering the name of who you are, but taking great pleasure in, making them feel safe, happy, and pain-free with you, and reveling in their contentment and their pleasure, and, when they're relaxed and stuff. And sometimes I think we sit and spin instead of just breathing that in and, like you said, being present in the moment.
Yeah, be present and be creative. And someone with dementia also, she may ask me, do you love me, like 5 times in 10 minutes? We keep repeating the same thing. I forget that those beautiful answers I just came up with. So it's just a chance to be more creative. So it's a game, and you can play with whatever way you want to play. But I think the best way to play is to have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think there's so many people that don't think you can have fun or that joy is impossible with dementia, and I adamantly disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of joy, and I think that actually people with dementia, as they many will regress in time, they become more playful. And I think as adults, a lot of times we forget how to play. We forget how to be joyful because we're too busy being busy, or being adult-like. And there's with my mom, for example, she went back in time, and I never really saw her in I don't want to say a pure joyful state, because I did many times throughout my life, but it was in an adult joyfulness. But when she got to the point where she was, kind of in this almost toddler joyfulness, it was just so pure. It was just so elevated. And it was really something to see. And I remember just thinking, I want what she has, because it's just so authentic. And
no, it's true.
Yeah, and I think that the authenticity is missing so much in our world. And so, to me, that was really one of the great benefits of the disease. You talk about jealousy in here. Can you talk a little bit about that to our audience? Maybe give an example.
Well, I think my favorite jealousy is being jealous of myself. Because Vera will look at these photographs on the wall where we're kissing each other or hugging each other, and she say, like, that's my husband, and I'll say, well, that's me. And she say, no, it's not. So I said, no, that's me when I had darker hair, and I'll try to convince her that that's me, so I would get jealous over myself there. So,
yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny. But then the next time she'll look at the picture, I say, that's me, and she said, I know. So it's not always the same. You never know the answer is going to be, or what the mood's going to be, or what's going to happen next.
Exactly.
And it seems like there's a lot of times, not a lot, times when she seems like out of it, and then she'll just want to sleep, and then then I'll try to get up later on, and she'll wake up and kiss me like like she knows I'm her best buddy forever. So I just don't know what's going to happen next, and it's such be present.
The clarity can really swing. I remember being in a memory cafe one day, and the people have given me permission to share this story, but it was a couple who had been married for like 60 some years, and they went to go to bed, and Bernie gave Marianne this big hug, and he said, honey, you're a really nice gal, but I'm married and you have to leave now. And she said her heart just broke because he didn't recognize her. But on the other side, she was so proud that he was honoring their marriage. And she felt, well, I know now he never cheated on me, And
right.
So everyone in the group said, well, what did you do? And she said, well, I went into the guest bedroom. And she said, I slept. And then she said, no, I didn't. I stayed up all night praying that in the morning he would know who I was. And what was ironic with that is in the morning he got up, everything was fine. But
right.
we probably had, 6 to 8 other couples in this group. Every single one of them had experienced a similar situation to that and had never, ever told a soul, not a friend, not a family member, not anything, because they were embarrassed and uncomfortable. And like they said, probably partially in denial. And if you say it too many times, it's real. And they were able to share together their experiences. It was so healthy for all of them. You literally just heard this sigh of relief that, again, I'm not alone. Others are going through similar things. So I think it's so important to have these healthy conversations. And granted, they're very intimate conversations. They're very personal, but I think that we can support one another by doing this as well. And
that's why another reason I wrote the book is I did it for myself, so I can express those feelings. Say these things where she doesn't recognize me, or she thinks she's married to somebody else, or she has to go home to her mother and grandmother now. She'll say once in a while. She hasn't said it in a long time, but for a while there, she was saying it all the time. Like she was like a young teenager or something. She can't stay. She's got to go back to her mom. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And but I think that's a normal part of what she's going through, and she stopped doing that actually. So I don't know why she stopped doing it, but I'm grateful that she stopped doing it. But if she started again, I can handle once you go through something a couple of times, it becomes easier. The next time you're kind of ready for it till then something new shows up. And so far, less and less new things have been showing up because she's played most of her cards, I think. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. You have another little poem here under benefits of not remembering. It says, we may have been around a while, seen many cycles of the sun. We don't remember all the details, but we know there's been a lot of fun. Each time we touch, each time we kiss, each time I hold you true, it feels like we may have done it before, but it also feels so brand new. And I think, again, that is, it's important to keep, not let this disease take your relationships. And there's so many levels of our relationships, but we can guard them and we can protect them. But again, we have to believe that they still exist. And I think for so long we were told as a society, that somebody was a shell of a body, and what's the point? I remember friends asking me, for example, with my mom, does she still know you? Does she remember your name? And I said, what I found was people were asking me that question for two reasons. Some people so badly didn't want me to talk about it anymore. They wanted to give me permission not to go see her again. So if she doesn't remember you, what's the difference? You don't need to go see her. And then if you don't go see her, then I won't hear this story because I don't know how to respond to you. I don't know what to do. And then others really wanted to know how she was doing. And I found that very fascinating. And then also learning in that process that, I believe we're much more than a name. I believe we're connected on multiple, different levels. And
names are like artificial, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Animals don't have names.
Yeah, but yet we seem to try to force words out of people, or repetitive actions that they've always done, and yet we have the freedom to change. We have the freedom to sit silent when we don't want to talk, and we don't let somebody force us to have to fit that mold. We're constantly morphing and changing, and so I think it's important for us to allow and respect and recognize that a person with dementia is going through these changes too, and that they can still communicate to us on multiple different levels using nonverbals. We just have to pay attention and read them. We have to look for those nonverbal signs, but I think we've gotten so fast-paced that so many people don't even know how to do that. They're just used to, sending an emoji instead of really looking for signs of emotion within somebody and stuff. So, it's an interesting process. Now, I know you're on Facebook. Do you have a Facebook group at all? Or do you belong to different groups on Facebook if people want to contact you? And
Not really. I mean, they can contact me just, through my name, I guess.
Okay.
I mean,
And
I have like a business page, I think. I think it's just under my name.
Okay. So, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us? We've got about 10 minutes left, and I just want to make sure.
When you were talking, it reminded me of Vera's, when she has pain, she'll say, "It hurts." She'll tell me something hurts. So, and it could be any part of her body. It could be having a headache. It could be her foot having a spasm. Her leg sometimes cramps, like has a cramp. So I'll do what I can to take care of it. And I start worrying, I'll say, take care of the doctor, or say, go to the emergency room, what's going on here, should give her a pill. And then usually within a few minutes, her pain's gone and she's forgotten all about it. I'm still carrying around this pain, and she didn't tell me that the pain went away. So I'll say, "Are you okay?" And I say, "How's your pain?" She'll say, "Like, what pain?" So she'll totally forget about it. That's kind of a benefit. You remember the pain.
Yeah, unless it's something really chronic that needs to be cared for, and then it can be dangerous, But and have you noticed have you noticed a difference? Because I know a lot of people with dementia say that their other senses have changed. So, aroma and taste and touch, what they see, they say a lot of that has increased or become more sensitive, their hearing. Have you noticed any of that with Vera?
Not really. I mean, she really enjoys eating, but we eat well, so she stays thin. But she likes to taste the food, and it seems like after sex, of course, food always tastes better. So she likes to eat then, and she usually finishes her food, and sometimes she won't, but she'll say, "You finish it for me." But most times she finishes her food, and sometimes I think she doesn't smell as much as she used to smell. But something she'll smell. So, "You smell that garlic?" And she'll say yes, and sometimes I'll say, "No, I'm not talking to you, honey. I'll give you a kiss." I was wondering she's wondering where I am. I'm in the bedroom. She's in the living room.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
I want my attention now.
It's nice to be missed, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Now, they can go email you at Vera Steve at AOL.com or at
Steve Bodansky,
Okay, or at Steve Bodansky.
Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you taking time to be with us today. I found this to be a really interesting conversation, needless to say, and I think it'll help a lot of people out there who are, struggling with dementia. And again, the name of Steve's book is Love and Alzheimer's. And where can they get that? Can they get that on Amazon, or does it have to be purchased through your
Amazon.
Your website?
Actually, only through Amazon. If they go to my website, I think I get an extra 50 cents. But no, it just goes to Amazon, and it's on Kindle, and it's on print. It's in print.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Steve.
Well, I really enjoyed talking to you and listening to you, and I think you're a great hostess and helpful. I feel better knowing you're out there.
Well, good. Well, we will let you go and get back to Vera because it sounds like she's missing you. So,
yeah, she's ready for me. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. You take care. Thank you again.
Okay.
I'm going to give a couple shout-outs to a couple other companies here. The Call Alert Center has a great new video to watch, and you can get actually 20% discount when you sign up going to AlzheimerSpeaks.com. This is called, again, the Call Alert Center, and it helps you prepare in case your loved one or your client may be a wanderer ahead of time, and they just do a big social media blast and make it easy for you to be able to push out basic information to help find them, should that be the case. Then I want to give a shout out to the Roberto app, which measures brain functions through video engagement, which is really interesting. And you can find out more by going to our homepage on AlzheimerSpeaks.com with that. In the meantime, have a lovely week, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
Hello, Perkins people. Welcome to another day to show some kindness. Like the new guy at the copier. You wanted 2 copies, but he printed 200. Think how good you'll feel showing him how to cancel out. Kind of like the way you'll feel when you order a new dish from Perkins' Great Plates menu. There's the cheesy chicken and bacon pasta, or all-you-can-eat pancakes, and so much more, just $4 to $8. Only at Perkins.
Kindness served daily.
Oh, man. Now he's jammed it. Hello, Perkins people. Welcome to another day to show some kindness. Like the new guy at the copier. You wanted 2 copies, but he printed 200. Think how good you'll feel showing him how to cancel out. Kind of like the way you'll feel when you order a new dish from Perkins' Great Plates menu. There's the cheesy chicken and bacon pasta, or all-you-can-eat pancakes, and so much more, just $4 to $8. Only at Perkins.
Kindness served daily.
Oh, man. Now he's jammed it.
Hey everybody, Jared Sebesti here, host of Retire Repurposed. This podcast is dedicated to help people transition into fulfilling and purposeful retirements. Retirement is a big life change. In fact, the 2 most dangerous years of a person's life are the year they were born and the year they retire. Few people can just flip the switch from working a career 30 or 40 plus years, retiring on Friday, without methodical steps to living what we call a repurposed retirement. To listen now, search Retire Repurposed on your favorite podcast platform, Senior Resource, or Life Audio.